Matt asks, in reference to my previous video about how important pre-production is, could you elaborate on what pre-production is exactly? And though I answered Matt in the comments of that video, I'm going to expound on it here because it's very, very important. And perhaps many of you don't know the depth of what pre-production is because it is kind of a lost art. I stopped seeing much pre-production, 10 years ago maybe, and I haven't seen it much in the last 10 years. There's a lot of reasons for pre-production. First of all, I've said before, when you write a song, it's not really done, all right? It's not finished. You have to really dig in deep and rework it and reevaluate it and reframe it and twist it around and pull it apart and put it back together to really know that it's bulletproof. But pre-production does that, but even goes a little further. So what we will do in pre-production is you will take the song and you will start analyzing it. As a producer, I will start analyzing it, as will the rest of my team. And we'll go, can we make this better? What can we do to this song to make it better, to make it pop more, to make it more exciting, to move people? That's what music's about, moving people. If you want your music to have long-term impact, you have to move people. Right. So we will take it apart, twist it, pull it back together, try different angles, try different keys for the specific singer who's going to be singing it. If the artist wrote it, we'll be like, hey, let's try a few different keys because it'll change the feel. It'll change the delivery, right? Think about like when Neil Young is at the top of his range. There's an urgency there, but it's not as intimate, right? So, and I think Neil understands that. That's what he's going for, and that at other times he tries a different approach. So you really want to think about where is this song going? Is this a pop song? Well, if it's a pop song, you might want that urgency. You might want to push it. But if it's a song where you're trying to communicate a specific narrative, a conversation that you're having with the audience, you might bring it down. So keys are something we look at very, very intensely. The other thing we are looking at is arrangement. And that's where you're really pulling the song apart and thinking, okay, well, dynamically, how does this song build? How can we make it have more impact? How can we make it flow better? Maybe we need to cut a couple of bars here, or maybe there's a pre-chorus here, but there's not the pre-chorus the second time. Maybe it's not as important the second time, and you want to go right back into the chorus. Does it have a bridge? If it doesn't have a bridge, should we put a bridge in? Should that be an instrumental bridge? Should it be a short instrumental bridge as just a transition to the last chorus? Do we need to write a new bridge? All of these things we're considering in pre-production. How many instruments are going to be on this song? What the instrumentation will be? Believe me, we're thinking about all these things, and you should be thinking about all these things so you're not wasting time in the studio. You're not burning the clock. You're not wasting money. It'll go way quicker. Like here in Nashville, if I go into the studio completely and utterly prepared, where it's like everything we did in pre-production makes every song bulletproof, those extremely professional session musicians that we've hired are going to be so grateful. They're going to want to work with you all the time. They're going to be more excited about the material they're playing, and they're going to want to work with you more, both you and the artist, because they're going to be like, man, these guys have it together. This is fun. This isn't just a job. This is fun. They're going to do a great work anyway. But if they really love it, think about that, right? Like when you really love something, aren't you bringing something more to it, whether you realize it or not? Of course you are. So we look at all these aspects in pre-production, where the song's going, what type of artist it is, what type of genre, how long the song is, the dynamics, how it builds, the instrumentation, all of these things, the keys, everything, anything we can think of before we get into that studio and start burning the clock. That's pre-production. That's the way I was taught coming up. And sometimes that pre-production goes on for weeks. I've done 6 months of pre-production on an entire album for an artist once. and it was well worth it. So thanks for asking that question, Matt. But that's pre-production plus much, much, much more, which I can't get into here in detail. I don't want to bore anybody, but you get an idea. That's what you need to do before you go spend money and get into the studio to record your songs. Any other questions? Let them roll.